Warning. Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, and violence. Listener discretion advised. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I'm Robert, or Bayushi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Jeanne, and I am playing Doji Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoto Richi.
I'm Tiff, and I'm playing Kuni Yui.
I'm Paul, and I'm playing Shishiro Bisho.
So, did Doji-Uzan have seen my letter and sent you for a full report? That was fast. Very well. I'll be brief. Suzume Ryuji is an old friend from childhood. A summer we spent at Kudenmatsu. Well, he had lost his wife, Kaguya, who had died shortly after giving birth to a daughter, Mariko. My assistant Sueno and I naturally hurried south for her funeral and to help him. There, we met some of our mutual friends from those years back then, Akoto Richi, Kuni Yui, and Shishiro Bisho. Ryuji-san was worn and frightened, for Mariko seemed to have some link to the spiritual, and there were forces, ninja, phoenix, other things, that would stop at nothing to get her. We naturally defended her, and Ryuji, but when a messenger of the Fortune Inari arrived to demand to take the baby, I felt like I had no choice. We couldn't fight Inari, but I couldn't let Mariko be taken. I challenged the messenger to a duel, but the Phoenix Yojimbo of Ryuji's father-in-law stepped in as champion for Inari, and, well, I lost. At that point, a spirit that seemed to us to be Inari herself came and claimed the child for her own. But when she came to take the baby, something happened. Ryuji and Mariko were gone, and the woman we had known as, or thought was, Inari, was in their place, splashing, dripping in a pond, naked and as mortal as you or I. She claimed that she was indeed Inari, and that she must be returned to Chiksudo. And maybe if she is, that would tell us where Ryuji and Mariko are. And maybe get them back. So now we're here in Foxlands researching how to return her to Chiksudo. And maybe fix what went wrong. Is that enough? Believe me, I'd much rather be studying the prevalence of the common wasp in the city of the rich frog than this. But I have to help my friend and fix my mistakes first. I promised I would try. I hope Uzan-san understands.
So that winds up kind of getting us through the afternoon into the pushing on to evening, which should get everyone relocated back and ready to plan out what to do about Hideki.
So I believe the idea is to work with his mother and trying to see if she'd be willing to put on a scenario, a training scenario.
I think I ended the last session with the idea of, so what are you two conspirators going on about? So do we want to have it be you and Yui discussing things with Hideki's mother, with Miyuki there at her home, or you guys talking about stuff back at the Cypress Grove? Where are you guys going to do your plotting?
I think, well, it depends on how we want to handle this on a presentation side. Okay. If we want to present this as though it were like, the start of the scene or the episode or however way it's going to break down, and Hideki wakes up to hear a noise and then goes in there, and we kind of do it in media res. That could be interesting. We could also do it as we were talking it out and planning it and see like actually how Richie and Yui and I thought I wrote her name down. Miyuki.
Yeah, Miyuki. Yeah.
Seeing
Meteor
how
Res could be really fun because then we get to figure out our plan
As you're
lower
coming up
in
with
the
it, yeah.
that is if you're okay with that, because I know that can be a little challenging to GM at times.
No, I could be down with that. So long as you guys are all right with it, I think it'd be a lot of fun to do. All right. So, off with Hideki hearing a sound downstairs, and he kind of rubs some of the sleep out of his eyes, calls out, Mom, is anyone downstairs? He kind of tugs his night clothes a little tighter to him and adjusts his obi there, and he wanders downstairs, and that's when he's confronted with.
So, holding his mother with a short knife to her throat is a figure about Yui's height, but he wouldn't notice.
He wouldn't notice.
He wouldn't notice that particular detail.
No, right now you look like 10 feet long and breathing fire, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who is wearing a black and red fox mask.
Mom? And Miyuki's just like, it's all right, Hideki. They just want some money.
Yes, just money, of course. Your money or your mother's life.
His eyes just go as big as places. I'll get whatever I can, and he goes and just tears back up the stairs and starts kind of going through his mother's room, trying to find where she has kept some money in the past. And you hear him scrambling all about, digging through everything that he can, trying to find what's available. And he finally comes across some bit of money she has in a small box, and he comes rushing down. This is what I have, and he's almost like shaking it to the point where the coins are about to fall out onto the floor, and it is not much.
It's not enough. What else do you have? Come on.
And he starts in the brewery. I could try to get some more.
You think that's going to be enough? You think that's going to be? You know what? And did he put the money lights on the floor?
Yeah.
Bag it up and give it to me.
Goes and he
Toss
grabs a quick bit of fabric and ties it into a carrying kind of cloth.
Toss it.
And he throws it over to you. Yeah.
So you grab it and stick it in just in the kimono that I'm wearing. I was like, all right. So here's the thing, kid. This isn't enough. It's not. So, you know what? I'll take both. I'll just take your mother with me. She might, we might be able to find some work for her or something, So we'll head out and we'll leave out the whichever door, because outside is...
Reach is just leaning up against the door, just shaking his head.
As Miyuki and Yui pass him, and Hideki starts to kind of come running after them. No, Mom, no! Let her go!
You now have a choice, young Hideki.
Oh, what?
You can snivel and cry and maybe pay off what you are intending to do, or you can grab your sword and go save your mother.
What's going on?
Life, young Hideki. Choose quickly.
And he just like with not fully comprehending anything that's going on at this point, he goes over to where his mom keeps her wakizashi, and he takes that, and he's like, I have my mom's blade.
Then go. Save your mother.
Where do they go?
I believe I see them over in that direction. And I'll point to where we've established that they're going.
All right. And so, yeah, Hideki kind of takes a look, and he kind of is not sure exactly what to do here, but kind of tries to steal up a bit of his courage and makes his way off to the direction they've traveled, and he's kind of chasing after them barefoot in just a his sleep clothes, a wakizashi, and just terrified beyond belief, and tears streaming down his face. He makes his way, and now he finds himself right on the edge of town, into the Kitsune Mori, into the forest. And he has to kind of take a few moments to kind of prepare himself once more. And he looks around, and he's starting to try and put things together. And he's going to try and track Yui through the forest here. All right, so with a little bit of help from Richi, Hideki gets 2 successes and 2 opportunities on a water survival to kind of track Yui through the Kitsune Mori here on the edge of town. And at first he's just lost it. He's too busy looking out for dangers. He's spotting anything he can through the trees, and he dismisses a few eyes here and there as being actual critters in the night, maybe a couple of raccoons or foxes on the edge of town, but he kind of has to stop and take sight of their eyes, and he picks out a path that looks like it would be much more dangerous and trapping than intended. But that's when kind of Richi gets the kid properly turned in the right direction.
This way, Hideki.
Oh, okay. And luckily with a bit of assistance from his kind of haphazard sensei here, and he gets pointed in the right direction. Oh, I think I spot them there, and he points out where a couple of footsteps have gone tramping through some of the soft earth, and he makes his way following through into the forest some more, and is moving this way and that. He's very unsure of himself. He's still trying to calm down. He's all just amped up on fear and adrenaline, and he finally kind of gets to a point where he's like, I think I hear something up ahead. Do you think that might be them?
I do not know. Is it?
Why are you being like this?
For you must learn. Go and save your mother.
All right. And he gets up and he kind of pushes himself up to his height, and you see his leg where you had hit him the day before kind of buckle a little bit as he goes to stand up, and he has to stamp his foot down a little bit more to ready himself. And he draws his mother's wakizashi out of the saya, and he goes charging into the clearing that he thinks that his mother and the bandit is at, and he comes face to face with.
Okay. He sees his mother kneeling on the ground with her hands behind her back as though they were tied, but they're not, because her and Yui would have had a discussion about this. And standing a bit in front of her with a knife pointed at her is the totally not Yui with the black fox mask and says, "Stop."
No, you stop. This is Fox Clan lands, and that's a Fox Clan samurai you've taken, and these are our lands. And he's shaking it to the point that the blade of his wakizashi is moving like 5 or 6 inches up and down with almost every word that he says.
Are you really the best that the Kitsune clan has to offer? That sword looks as though it's a bit heavy for you. Are you having trouble holding it?
Goes ahead and he grips it in 2 hands and tries to steady it himself. I might not be a samurai yet, but I'm more samurai than some bandit with a knife.
Prove it.
And he just kind of raises it up over his head and screams and charges in at the not Yui. All right, so Hideki, thinking that his mother's life is on the line here and he has to put everything he has into it, goes ahead and spends a void point, and he charges in and he swings at the not Yui bandit, and he gets 2 successes, but because he is untested in this situation and he's totally unsure of himself, he re-rolls 2 dice and comes up with blank and opportunity. So the kid totally misses, just with this wild hack that was just way off course even to begin with, to the point that Yui doesn't even have to sidestep it at all. But with the 2 opportunities in water, they're going to move an extra rain band out of range so that they are at least doing something that Ricci taught them, which is to kind of maintain distance, always keep moving, that kind of thing. So it's something. Swing and a miss, but keeps distance and moves away.
The look, if you could see behind the mask, if Ricci could see behind the mask, the look on Yui's face is just, yeah, well. So she collects her disappointment from that. It's just, I see. Well, I don't see any reason to be worried then if you can't even hit a non-moving target. And she will, like, Ricci is visible, I imagine, as he was following, correct?
Oh yeah, it's a slow saunter up, so I'm now just starting to enter the clearing, but I did see that swing and a miss.
Yeah. You can't see her eyes, but she's looking at you like, how bad is this gonna go?
There's just a small shake of the head.
So Hideki kind of turns and sees you coming towards him and moves his grip, so he's kind of has one hand on the bottom of the blade's hilt and kind of looking like he's going to try and charge and spear you now with the kind of the wakizashi, and trying to put his whole weight behind it if he can. Unless you try to smack him down first, he's going to try and come at you again.
You know what? With the disappointment, it's going to be really difficult for you to not anticipate him coming back, and he gets into range. Give him a nice, like, kick directly on the chest.
Ooh, I like that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and have you key off your action of wait for him to get into range. He's got to move towards you to try and get that kind of charging stab that he's going to try and do. So I'll let you go ahead and do your wait action to kick him when he gets into range 1.
All right, fantastic.
And he's still sticking in water to be able to move and attack.
Okay. So I have an Earth of 4, and this definitely martial arts.
Yep.
Unarmed, because it's my foot, of 3.
How does that kick go?
So I ended up getting 3 opportunities, 1 strife, and 2 successes, which means the boy absolutely gets kicked and a crit from a foot. So deadliness of a kick is 1. So I just want him to feel it.
Oh, he's gonna.
And he might end up with a boot mark.
So, yeah, he goes ahead and he rolls his meager fitness of 1 in his 2 water and gets an opportunity. So while he's able to steel himself against the possible next crit from a boot like that, he takes it and feels it, and it kind of rips at his clothes and a big boot mark on his good night clothes. If anything, Miyuki is like, I'm gonna have to clean that. All right, so he takes the thump, but is able to keep going, and from here he will try to, like I said, spear you with his wakizashi. All right, so Hideki squares up and he lunges forward and in kind of this spearing motion that also then kind of rises up like the cut that Ricci delivered to his leg the day before. His blade just flashes forward and it misses Yui like completely, but it catches the edge of her mask, cutting the cheap twine used to keep it connected to her face, and the mask just slowly kind of falls a little bit crooked to the side and then down to the ground. And Hideki is like, you? But you're Akoto-san's friend. What?
This wasn't supposed to.
This was a test, Hideki-san.
What? Why?
To see what you were made of. To see the quality of your samurai spirit.
So you kidnapped my mom? And she's like, oh no, Hideki. And she kind of brings her hands out from behind her back to show they weren't tied behind her. You... And he just... You let them do this? And I was... And he throws his mom's wakizashi down onto the forest floor, and he just tears off into the woods. Just crying, openly weeping, and just a mess. And he just goes tearing off into the night.
But it will not be long before Yui starts running after him. He's like, no, don't run into the woods alone. Nope.
Ricci's following very closely behind because, it's definitely not safe out there. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, at this point, I'm going to have you guys go ahead and make me a survival check here. And let's see. Kid knows the forest fairly well. He's grown up here his whole life. You guys are new. It is dark outside, but he is making some noise. So we're going to say that this is going to be a water survival 3 check, TN3.
I would like to utilize the Earth has no eyes to make this easier.
Yeah, no, that works. I think using that as a narrative use of the Kiho would state that you can sense the reverberations of his movements and hear wherever he's crying, even if he's being quiet about it, his body's still shaking and whatnot through Earth Has No Eyes. So we're going to go ahead and knock that down to TN2 to track him normally. Effectively, no environmental penalties for you because of Earth Has No Eyes.
Okie dokie.
All right, Yui. So you are going to attempt to help guide Tyler through the tracking of young Hideki here.
Ricci.
Oh, Ricci. I'm sorry. Yes, you're trying to find young Hideki with Ricci here using a Kiho.
Yes. So upon attempting to activate Earth Neath No Eyes, which is a TN1 meditation Earth check, I still have Earth of 4, had meditation 2, but probably because, trying to activate a Kiho while running through the woods or while immediately panicking about what's going on. I wasn't able to hit the burst effect, but the enhancement effect is if you succeed, the key activates, and while it's active, you can use vibrations of the earth to see a number of range bands in all directions equal to my earth ring, which is 4. It also increases my vigilance by my earth ring, which is pretty awesome.
That is pretty good. That's going to give you a vigilance of what altogether?
5.
5. Wow. So yeah, you're going to be pretty good there, and then that's going to go ahead and get rid of your penalties for environmental stuff for night and whatnot. So that's going to go ahead and reduce Ricci's TN to a TN of 2 for the tracking. And how are you going to spend your opportunities?
The opportunities are being spent to make sure this is going as carefully and smoothly as possible, and that any like terrain issues that may or may not be occurring are not a problem as we, trapeze through the woods in the night.
Go running through the woods at night. Yeah, yes. after a sad kid. Yeah, no, that works out really well. So yeah, you're able to avoid the nasty entangling roots and rocks that would trip up normal people. You're taking that effort to get through that and mitigate the disaster of falling face first in the dark. All right. And then for Ricci, you are going to make a water survival to track.
Which I did and got 2 successes and an opportunity. So I will succeed, and I'll take the opportunity to reduce a little bit of strife, knowing that things are going a little crazy, just taking a deep breath while almost sprinting through the woods.
Nice. All right. So yeah, you with 2 successes, you're able to keep pace with Hideki, and with luckily, not being tripped up. And unfortunately, he's running into trees. He's kind of catching himself from falling here and there. He might know the forest, but running through it in the dead of night without any shoes and without good clothes on is not the best move. And after about 20 minutes or so, you're finally able to catch up with him, where the kid is just dirty and filthy and slumped up against a tree, crying, kind of with his head in his knees as he sits on the ground behind a tree there, just crying his poor little kid eyes out.
And Ricci will just go up beside him and just kneel down and not say anything. Just let him get all that emotion out.
Do all this. It's one thing to want to help me train. It's another thing to make me think that someone's kidnapped my mother and is gonna kill her and force her to who knows what, and all this just to what? To try and make me into something I'm not? I just don't understand.
Into something you're not?
Not cut out for this. I'm not gonna make a good Bushi. I never wanted to be.
This is to prepare you for the worst. This is where life gets difficult. We are taking on paths that we do not want. The best we can do is to embrace it and do our best to serve our Lord and our empire.
You have 2 choices here in this moment. Either you can strengthen your resolve and choose to follow a path, and you think you are not cut out for this, you can become cut out for this. After all, if you hadn't followed or attempted to follow the path of Bushi, if this were real, what would you have done? However,
probably would have died.
Or you find your path and you embrace that harder. However, that's a harder path to live the life that is not predetermined for you by someone else, isn't it?
Ricci just gives a bit of a side eye to Yui. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, it's true. He has a choice. Either he can serve his lord and follow orders, or he cannot, right? He can
I don't believe there is a choice.
everyone has a choice. There are better choices, but you have one. I mean, technically there's a third choice, which is to do what you're told, but not do it well, which then is it really different than that second path?
Well, you must consider the consequences.
There are scarier things out in the world than bandits, especially fake ones. You have a good life here. So decide if you want to protect that, if you want to resolve yourself to be able to protect that, or if you want to rely on others to protect it for you. And if you do, plan accordingly. That's it.
I'm fine with others that want to live this life. I'm no good at it.
Does your sensei know that?
Yes, they all know I'm not good at this, that I'm not good at the martial arts, that I'm not skilled with the sword or anything like that, that it's not me. But my clan needs warriors, needs protectors, and that's what I've been assigned. I mean, if I pass my Genpuku,
Do you know what happens if you don't pass your Genpuku?
I get laughed at, and I'll be in with next year's class, everyone knowing what a failure I am.
Hideki, you say your clan needs warriors to protect itself, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I know the lion would also be aware of this, but the crab especially are aware of the fact that you don't just need foot soldiers. You don't just need Ashigaru for this sort of thing. There are other ways you could resolve to protect your clan and contribute in another way.
Schools are already full, and I've already... I mean, how do I convince my sensei to get me into something like that?
Show resolve. Show that you're willing to put in the work. That's not really talent. I mean, it's more about how much effort and work you put into these sorts of things, and what you end up being passionate about is what you end up spending more time on naturally. That's talent. I mean, of course, there's stuff with like Shugenja and in touch with the kami and such, but really it's that first thing.
It's not skill or patience that you lack. It's conviction. You need to dedicate yourself to a path of life. And if your clan says that you need warriors, start learning to be a better warrior. If you can manage to serve in a different way that the clan will also need, dedicate yourself to that. Whichever way you show that you are best at, your superiors will see that.
Yeah, there's lots of, I mean, Crab knows for sure. There's lots of ways. There's engineers, there's witch hunters, there's actually, I mean, do you guys have supernatural threats to deal with around here? Because you don't need to be a Shugenja to deal with those sorts of problems. I mean, maybe it's just that your clan is so small you don't have this more specialized training available that would suit you best.
Yeah, we don't have many dojos. But I suppose I can push to try to learn something besides just how to fight.
Here's the thing, Hideki. You might think you failed this test entirely. But the thing is, despite you clearly not having the resolve or the belief in yourself that you are a capable Bushi, you came at me anyways. You ran after me anyways. You decided to, in the moment, do what you could, despite your fear. That is courage. Courage is not having fear. Courage is doing what must be done despite your fear.
Indeed. That is the first step to learning how to overcome your fear, is just acting on instinct. And you did that. You did that admirably.
Yeah, I had to save Mom.
And there are going to be threats against your clan that will also threaten your mother. Start applying that ideal to everything you do. be it studying, be it your training. Apply it to everything.
If you need to find a new way to do things, do it. But make it work. Practicality above all, after all. If you have it in you to find the courage despite, then you can build resolve from that. You can build strength from that. Everything else is training, hard work. And if you want to, maybe I can write you know what? See if you're good at anything. But maybe I write a letter to someone, see if you can get some training elsewhere at apparently a place that could actually handle. Apparently you specialize in something else. Everyone's good at something or less bad at something.
You do that?
I'd consider it if you can show me more fire, more resolve.
And if you were interested, I could also write a letter of introduction to my sensei within the Kitsune Medic School.
And with that, like, he actually kind of perks up. Yeah?
It's not an easy training. And you will have to learn to use your katana well. For what good is a patient if you cannot defend him in the battle?
It's still, I mean, I've much better with learning and medicines and what you were teaching me after you hit my leg the other day, yesterday. I think I'd really like that.
Before I could do that, I would need to see results. I will not put my reputation on the line for a flight of fancy.
If you want to go for that, that is a very special offer. Yeah, prove that you want it and prove that, not that you're worth it, prove that you want it. That's more important. Prove that you're willing to put in the effort. Isn't that right, Rachie?
It is very much correct.
And yeah, I'll do my best if you think you'd be willing to do that. Yeah, I would. I'd very much prefer to save lives than take lives.
Then I will issue a challenge to you. I do not know how long our group will be here in the lands of the Kitsune, but on the day we leave, I will ask for you to train with me one more time. And if you can land a hit on me, then, and only then, will I introduce you to my sensei.
All right, then. I'll do my best to train up.
But I will not go as easy on you as I did last time.
That was easy. It almost felt like you took my leg off.
At which point I just give a slight smile and be like, knowledge of medicine does help with various sword strikes.
Ricci.
You gotta combine the training somehow.
I mean, yeah, finding paintball. You know what? Maybe you and I should have a conversation about how to. You know what? This is for a later time. And to be fair, I think his test for tonight is over, and he should probably go. We should probably all go back and let him and his mother have a good night's sleep at this point. What's left of it?
Yes, this has been a trying day. Come, Hideki, let us get some rest.
Yeah, and he's back on his feet, and the three of you go and make your way out through. After another half hour, you meet up with Miyuki, who gives her son a hug, and then the four of you head back to her place and call it a night. And that's where we'll call it a night as well. I'm Robert, or Bayushi Shinichi, your host and narrator. Thank you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday, and if you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/CourtGames. To reach out to us, email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
I'm Tiff, and I played Kuniyui. You can also find us on the web at courtgamespod.com, Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and Twitter at L5R FNS.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Ricci. You can find me on Twitter or on Twitch as Churcher Games.
I'm Paul, and I was playing Shishiro Show. If you want to follow my other projects, I am the GM of 2 LGBT+ podcasts, Tales of Swordfall at Swordfall D&D for D&D 5e, and Gates of Orchid and Iris at GOIL5R for L5R 5e.
This was Jeanne, aka Kakita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. If you like, you can also find me on the CourtGames RPG podcast, at the Winter Garden of the Kikita website, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with the Rokugani Historical Society.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.